Hello everyone, welcome to this channel, and today we are gonna read another chapter uh, through mind maps, one of the best mind maps that you can find on YouTube. And the chapter's name is Plant Kingdom. So this is a chapter we are going to study today, and this will be a very quick revision video. Okay, so coming to the chapter, we are not gonna waste much time. Coming to the chapter. Okay, the first thing in this chapter we are going to study is types of classification. There are different types of classification. In previous chapter you also seen two or three types of classification. Okay, we are going to see about six more classification here. The first is artificial system of classification. In this system, only morphology of a organism is considered, and that is why it fails. Because here only very less features we consider of an organism while doing the classification. We have to consider more features, we have to go more deep, but in artificial system of classification, we consider morphology only. Or what is morphology? External structures. No. External structures of an organism is called a morphology. External structures. Okay, so that's why this system also fails, because when we do classification only based on morphology or only based on external structure, it's very less criteria to do the classification, and it does not fit good. Okay, now second type of classification is called natural system of classification. This is the system of classification in which we use many criteria. For example, we use morphology or external structures, we use internal structures or internal features, which is called as anatomy. So here we use morphology as well as anatomy. Okay, and an example of this natural system of classification is classification given by Bentham and Hooker. So Bentham and Hooker are two scientists. They gave classification about the flowering plants, that we also known as angiosperms. They gave classification of flowering plant, and this classification of Bentham and Hooker was a type of natural system of classification, because they considered external as well as internal features. Okay, now third type of classification is called as phylogenetic system of classification. The term phylogeny means evolutionary relationship of an animal, between animals, and this signifies basically in course of evolution which organism come first and which comes last or which comes after that. Okay, this is basically called evolutionary relationship. So this system of classification is based on evolutionary relationship. Okay, fourth is numerical system of classification. This is done by using computers, and the advantage of numerical classification, you have to write this here, that we can consider hundreds of feature at a time, है ना? Hundreds of features at a time. So this is at same time, because we feed all the features in the computer, and the computer will do the we will create a software, and computer will basically do the classification. So numerical classification has a really great advantage that we can consider hundreds of feature at a time. Okay, next is cytotaxonomy. The cytotaxonomy, the word cyto means cell, and taxonomy obviously means classification. Cell classification, you can say it. So cytotaxonomy is basically based on cell information, such as number of chromosome and their structure, etc. So whatever there are present in cell, on the basis of cell information, we do cytotaxonomy. And last is chemotaxonomy, which uses chemical constituent, or basically generally it is done in plants. Okay, chemotaxonomy generally used for plants. Okay, used for plants. And you can see we use chemical constituent of plant. We basically analyze chemical constituent, chemical presence of chemicals in a plant, and on the basis of those chemical we do the classification. Okay, so these are six different types of classification we studied here. Now coming to plant kingdom, see, we are studying more, basically classification given by R.H. Whittaker, which is called as five kingdom system of classification. Five kingdom classification, in which there are five kingdoms, which are Monera, Protista. This is the classification which studied in last chapter. Okay, Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Plantae, Animalia. Now out of these, the Monera, Protista, and fungi. These are all in the biological classification chapter. So, we have studied Monera, Protista, and fungi. We are currently studying kingdom Plantae. So, this is the section of the five kingdom classification that today we are going to study. That is kingdom Plantae. Okay, and Animalia kingdom is in the next chapter, which is the name of the chapter is basically Animal Kingdom. So, Animalia kingdom we will study in the next chapter. Today we are going to study kingdom Plantae. Now there are five types of plants also. As you can see, I have right here. Okay, there are five types of plants we have to study: algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, and angiosperm. These are the five topics we are going to study in this chapters. Okay, algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, and angiosperms. Okay, so starting from algae, we are going to start the chapter from algae. Coming here, you can see the first topic that we have here is algae. This is the first type of plant we are going to study. The first thing we are going to study is general features. So common features that are seen in algae, we are going to study. Before common feature, let's first study importance. It will be easy for us. Okay, first let's study the importance of algae. As you know, all plants are important for us. Okay, they are really the reason why we are able to eat and sustain our life, because we need plants. Okay, so coming to algae, the importance of algae: 50% of total carbon dioxide fixation, about 50% of total carbon dioxide fixation is done by algae through photosynthesis. Okay, when algae do photosynthesis, it basically fixes carbon dioxide. Okay, so here you can also add a word through photosynthesis. Using photosynthesis process, algae fixes carbon dioxide. Photosynthesis. This is the first importance. About 70 marine forms of algae are edible. 70 types of algae are there which are edible. Okay. They also produce hydrocolloids. Now hydrocolloids, what are hydrocolloids? They are water holding substances. They are substances which can hold water in them. Okay. These are water holding substances. So algae produces hydrocolloids, and there are two hydrocolloids. One is algin, which is produced by brown algae, and there is carrageen, which is produced by red algae. These are two types of hydrocolloids that NCERT have given as an example. Algin is a hydrocolloid produced by brown algae, and carrageen is a hydrocolloid produced by red algae. Coming to here, agar, or you can say only agar. Okay, you can say this agar or agar. This means actually there is a confusion here. हिंदी में अगर बात करें, ओके, आप इसको अगर भी कह सकते हो या फिर सिर्फ अगर कह सकते हो. ओके, यू कैन से अगर और agar only. Okay, this is the thing I want to say. So agar is produced by Gelidium and Glacialia. These are two different algae. They produce agar. Okay, now coming to chlorella. Chlorella is an algae which is used for as food supplement for space travelers. The astronauts use this chlorella as a food supplement because it is rich in protein and nutrients. So chlorella is used as a food supplement for space travelers. Okay, now coming to general features. In general features, we are mainly gonna study about reproduction in algae. Okay, uh, talking about vegetative reproduction. In all type of algae, the vegetative reproduction is seen through fragmentation. What is fragmentation? The body of the algae breaks into different fragments. If you see an example here, this is, let's see, this is an algae, and this breaks down in different fragments, 1, 2, and 3. This breaks down in different fragments. This is called as fragmentation. In all algae, they vegetatively reproduce by fragmentation. Okay, and asexual reproduction is generally through zoospore. Generally, it is not compulsory, it is general. Okay, so they reproduce asexually through zoospores. Coming to sexual reproduction, which is very important, it happens by fusion of gametes, and here gametes are of different types. The first is isogamous, second is anisogamous, and third is oogamous. These are three different type of sexual reproduction. In isogamous type of sexual reproduction, the gametes are of same shape and size. In anisogamous type of sexual reproduction, the gametes are of different size. Okay, in oogamous type of sexual reproduction, the female gamete is large and non-motile. Okay, you won't be able to see non-motile here. due to this bar. And I will zoom out, then you will be able to see. Okay, so female gamete is large and non-motile. This means that it is large and can't move. There is no flagella or cilia through which it can move. Okay, so in oogamous, female gamete is large and cannot move, non-motile. Okay, male gamete is small and motile, that is, it is small and can move. Example, we have volvox and fucus in oogamous type of gametes. Okay, eudorhina have an isogamous type of gamete, that is, if one gamete is small, second is large. So okay, different size. And oogamous have two conditions: the gametes are of same shape and size, they can be flagellated and or non-flagellated. In flagellated you have urethrix, and non-flagellated you have spirogyra. So you can say this is male gamete and this is female gamete. So the morphology of these are like same. Okay, and they can be flagellated or non-flagellated. Okay, they have may have flagella present or not flagellated. So this is isogamous, and isogamous and oogamous are very common questions, and examples are very important. These are asked in exam. Now coming to types of algae. Okay, we have to study three different classes of algae: Phaeophyceae, chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae. These are three type of algae we have to study, and we are going to study by them through comparing these one to other, because when you compare these three algae, you will be able to learn these very easily. Okay, like chlorophyceae is called green algae, Phaeophyceae is called brown algae, and Rhodophyceae is called red algae. So we will compare. If we compare, we will learn very easily. Okay. Now, chlorophyceae, why it is called green algae? Because it has chlorophyll A and B, and chlorophyll A and B gives it green color. That's why it's of green color and it's called chlorophyceae. Phaeophyceae has chlorophyll A and C, and Rhodophyceae has chlorophyll A and D. Now, this is also very easy to learn. Chlorophyceae have AB, then AC, and then AD. Okay, it is always very easy to learn when you compare these algae. Apart from chlorophyll A, B, A and C and A, D, chlorophyceae only have chlorophyll A and B, but Phaeophyceae have fucoxanthin pigment also. This fucoxanthin pigment is the pigment which is responsible to give brown color to the algae. Okay, brown algae is the brown color of the brown algae is due to fucoxanthin. Similarly, in Rhodophyceae, there is one more pigment, R-phycoerythrin, and this is the pigment which is which gives red color to the rhodophyceae. So in chlorophyceae, the chlorophyll A is of green color. That is why chlorophyceae is green algae. Okay. In Phaeophyceae, we have fucoxanthin. That's why it's brown algae. And Rhodophyceae, we have R-phycoerythrin, which is why it is red of color. Okay. Now, in chlorophyceae, there is pyranoids. Pyranoids are storage body. Basically, uh, they are small globules. You can say small organelles, not organelles. Okay, small structures which store protein and starch. Okay, so pyranoids are a storage body. Their work is to store protein and starch. They are found in chlorophyceae only. Okay. Now, whenever a plant makes food, it uses some of it and stores some of it. Okay, that all plants. I'm talking about all plant. You see a mango tree. A mango tree makes some food. It uses most of it and stores some of it for future use. Okay. Similarly, chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, and Rhodophyceae also use some of their food and store some of their food. For example, chlorophyceae store their food in form of starch. Okay, so here stored food is starch. Phaeophyceae store their food in form of laminarin and mannitol. These are two chemicals. In form of laminarin and mannitol, Phaeophyceae store their food. Rhodophyceae store their food in form of Floridian starch. Okay. Now, coming to reproduction, I have not written in reproduction in chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae, because they have seen different type of gametes. They can be isogamous, anisogamous, oogamous, all type of gametes in you can see in chlorophyceae and Phaeophyceae. However, in Rhodophyceae, only oogamous type of gametes you can see. Okay, so only oogamous alga are found in chlorophyceae. Talking about cell wall. In chlorophyceae, cell wall is made of cellulose pectose. Phaeophyceae have a cell wall made up of cell wall has a coat of algae. Okay, in Phaeophyceae, the cell wall is made up of cellulose, but it has also a coat of algae. Okay, In rhodophycy, the cell wall is made up of cellulose. So main component of the cell wall of all type of plant is cellulose. Apart from cellulose, you can see different types of things. For example, chlorophycy. Apart from cellulose, you see peptose. In phaeophycy, you see algin apart from cellulose, and in rhodophycy, you see cellulose only. Okay. Example, chlorophycy, here volvox, ulothrix, etc. There are some other examples you have to learn from the books. Okay, phaeophycy have ectocarpus rictiota and rhodophycy have glaciaria gelidium. These are the examples you have to learn. Okay, there are other examples also in the book. These are not complete examples, and I have also made a like a strict video. You can search on the YouTube to learn these examples. Okay. So this was all about algae. I don't think anything else is about algae. Okay, yeah, this is all about algae. And now we come to other types of plant, that is bryophyte, pteridophyte, and gymnosperm, and then angiosperm. So we have to study total 5 type of plant: algae, bryo, pterido, gymno, angio. We have studied algae. Others are small, won't take much time, and the notes here due to you can say poor quality of camera. Okay, the notes are sometimes blurry and you have to rely on what I say. Okay, in bryophytes, if you watch this video above or at 480 pixel, then you will be able to see these all things written clearly, or you will not able to see. Okay, that's I'm sorry for the inconvenience caused. Okay. In bryophytes, we have two types of plants, liverworts and mosses. Bryophytes are called amphibians of the plant kingdom. The amphibian term is used for something which lives on land as well as water, on both. Okay. Now, why are bryophytes called amphibian? They do not live on both land and water, but they depend on water for sexual reproduction. So, for sexual reproduction, without water, they can't do a sexual reproduction. That's why we call them amphibian of plant kingdom. They have rhizoids as roots. Their main plant body is haploid, and this is called gametophyte because it produces gamete. We call that as gametophyte. Their main plant body is haploid and called gametophyte. Their archegonium is female sex organ basically. Their female sex organ is of flask shape like this. There is a flask, you have seen or different types of flask. Okay, so their archegonium is of flask shape, and there is an example of a moss called sphagnum. Sphagnum produces peat, and that's why it is called peat moss. Okay, the sporophyte of bryophyte has three parts: foot, seta, and capsule. Now liverworts and mosses, these are two types of bryophytes. In liverworts, you can see gemma, which are asexual bud, and the example is Markensia. In mosses, there is two stages of gametophyte: protonema and leafy stage. Okay, and the examples are Funaria, Polytrichum, and Sphagnum. So these are the basic features of the liverworts and mosses. Because these are short notes, I have not included the life cycle of the bryophytes and pteridophyte. And if you are in class 11th, then you will need to learn the life cycle of bryophyte and pteridophyte. Okay, it may come in exam, it is a good topic, but for NEET students, there is very little significance of the life cycle coming in the exam. Okay, so coming to pteridophytes. Pteridophytes are divided into the two parts: horsetails and ferns. Okay, their main plant body is sporophyte. Here you can see in bryophyte the main plant body was haploid and it was gametophyte. Because it produces gamete, that's why we call it gametophyte. In pteridophyte, the main plant body is sporophyte because it produces spores. That why we call it as sporophyte, and it is 2n, that is diploid. Okay. The leaf in pteridophyte are of two types, small and large. The small leaf are called microphyll. Example is Selaginella. Selaginella have small leaves called microphyll. And fern is a plant that has macrophyll or large leaves. Okay, so though two type of leaf are found here. Sporophyll. What is sporophyll? Those leaves that have sporangia is called sporophyll. Sporangia is basically, you can say, house of spore. This is the place where spore is formed, sporangia. Okay, so those leaves that have sporangia are called sporophyll. They form strobili or cone. They basically arrange in a spiral manner. Okay, they get packed in spiral form, and that spiral form is called cone or strobili. Okay, example, we have Selaginella and Equisetum. You can see cones in Selaginella and Equisetum. Okay, gametophyte of pteridophyte is called as prothallus. For example, for comparison, you can say bryophytes. In bryophytes, the mosses gametophyte has two stages: protonema and leafy stage. Okay, so in bryophyte, the protonema and leafy stage are the gametophyte. In pteridophyte, prothallus is the gametophyte. Okay, that's why you should compare. Okay, if you compare and study, it will be easy to study. Heterosporous, now all not all, okay, many, there are many pteridophytes which are heterosporous, that is produce two type of spores. What is heterosporous? Produce different type of produce, या फिर तो or you can say two types of spore. That's why we call them as heterosporous. Okay, example, Selaginella and Solvinia. Many are heterosporous, many, and there are many also which are homosporous. So all are not heterosporous. All pteridophyte are not heterosporous. Okay, Selaginella and Salvinia are heterosporous, and there are many pteridophytes which are homosporous. Homosporous means they produce single type of spore, not different types of. Now, there are many classes in we have to study in this, like Psilopsida. Psilopsida, example, Psilotum. Lycopsida is class in which example is Selaginella and Lycopodium. You have to learn the classes and examples. Okay, Sphenopsida, Equisetum is the example, and Pteropsida we have Dryopteris, Pteris, and Adiantum. These are the examples you have to learn of the classes, and these are very easy. For example, Psilopsida, the example is Psilotum. The spelling you have seen, PSIL and PSIL. Okay, silo either there is silo on the left hand side and there is silo on the right hand side. These are very easy. Okay, so similarly in Pteropsida you say Dryopteris and Pteris. Though both way, as you can see, there is Pteris in both. Okay, so Pteropsida you have to easily learn. These are examples are very easy. You have to learn them. Now coming to gymnosperms, or fourth type of plant. Gymnosperms have naked seed. Okay, so for example, if you see a mango tree, this is seed, and seed is covered within fruit. This is the fruit of mango. But in gymnosperms there is no fruit, there is no covering on the seed. That's why we call it as naked seed. The word gymno means naked and sperma means seed. That's why we have gymnosperms. Okay, so they have naked seed. Now fungi uh, sometimes make association with pinus root. Pinus is a type of gymnosperm. Okay, so pinus root and fungi, they live mutually, and this is what we call as mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is a symbiotic association between roots of pinus and fungi. Now what is a symbiotic association in which both are benefited? Okay, so mycorrhiza, by making mycorrhiza, the pinus root is also benefited, basically pinus plant is also benefited, and fungi has also its benefits. Okay, so both are benefited and both live together. That is what we call as mycorrhiza. Okay, Cycas is a gymnosperm which has coralloid roots. These are a special type of root which have nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. I have given you the example of cyanobacteria in the last chapter, and nostoc and anemina. Okay, so these are type of cyanobacteria which do the nitrogen fixation, and cycas roots have nitrogen fixation cyanobacteria, and these roots are special roots. We call them as coralloid root. Okay, conifers are gymnos with needle like leaves. Their leaf size of like very thin leaves, needle. All gymnosperms are heterosporous, but in pteridophyte you have seen Selaginella and Salvinia are two pteridophyte which were heterosporous, and there were most of the pteridophytes were homosporous. But in gymnosperms, all gymnosperms are heterosporous, that is they will produce two different type of spores. Cones are found in the gymnosperms, and examples comes with Cycas, Pinus, and Chinko. These are the examples. Now, angiosperms is basically nothing. There is basically nothing given in the angiosperms, okay, in this chapter, because there is a dedicated chapter of angiosperms in the class 12. So that's why we have to study very less about angiosperm in this chapter. This is the last topic. Angiosperms are called flowering plants because these are the only plants that have flower. From algae, brio, pterido, gymno, all these plants don't have flower. They don't give flowers, okay. Only angiosperms give flower. These are called flowering plants. Tallest angiosperm is eucalyptus and smallest one is wolffia. Now angiosperms can be of two classes, dicot and monocot. The full name can be dicotyledony and monocotyledony, okay. In a small in short form we call dicot and monocot. In dicots, there are two cotyledon. Cotyledon are small structures which are used as nutrient storing section, okay, in the seed. If you take a gram seed, if you take a gram seed and split it, you can see two sections, okay. These two sections, these are basically cotyledon, okay. This is one cotyledon, this is other cotyledon, and the function of cotyledon is to store food so that the plant can use it in its initial days, okay. So in dicots there are two cotyledon. In monocot there is single cotyledon, and the name shows di means two and mono means one, okay. In dicot there is reticulate venation. What is venation? You will study in just coming chapter. Now if you see a mango tree, you can see a one line here, it is called midrib, and then net like structures in whole leaf. These like net like structures, many veins and veinlets. These are veins and veinlets you can see in the leaf, okay. This is what we call as reticulate venation. The word reticulate basically means net like, okay, like a spider net, okay. So this is called as reticulate venation. Venation terms tells about veins and veinlets that are present in the leaf of a plant, okay. So dicots have reticulate venation. You don't have to learn this here because in the next chapter, morphology of the flowering plant, we are going to study this uh, in detail, okay. And monocot, there is parallel venation. Now in dicot, tetra or pentamerous flowers are found. Now this is also one thing you don't have to study here, okay. In monocot, trimerous flowers are found. Ignore it, do not study this, okay, ignore it. You will study this in morphology of flowering plant, okay. So dicot and monocot, the main thing today you have to learn that there's two cotyledon present in monocot and one single cotyledon is present in two cotyledon present is dicot and single cotyledon is present in monocot. Angiosperms also show double fertilization, which is basically two different fertilization. One is called syngamy and one is called triple fusion. In syngamy, the male gamete fuses with the egg, and in triple fusion, the male gamete fuses with polar nuclei. Actually, in plants, in angiosperms, two male gametes enter the flower. Okay, one male gamete fuses with the egg, and this is called syngamy, and through syngamy, zygote is formed. Okay, triple fusion is basically the other male gamete fuses with the polar nuclei. The polar nuclei is already 2n. See, polar nuclei is already 2n, and in this the male gamete, that is n, fuses. So what we get is 3n. That is why we call it this as triple fusion, okay. Now 3n or triploid condition, this is basically endosperm. When you take a coconut, the coconut water is basically an endosperm, okay. So coconut water, how coconut water is formed? It is formed through triple fusion when male gamete fused with polar nuclei, because polar nuclei is already 2n, okay, diploid, and male gamete is haploid. So what we get is 3n or triploid. You got it? Now this last topic, alternation of generation, it is deleted from NCERT and it is deleted from syllabus of NEET as well as class 11. So this is the topic you don't have to study, okay. So this chapter is completed, and now we will meet in the next chapter. You can download this PDF from the website given, link is given in the description. And if you have any doubt for the whole chapter, you can ask in the comment. I will surely try to reply as soon as possible. Any doubt you can ask, okay. The my comment section is for doubt, okay. So it's like a classroom, okay. My comment section is basically like a classroom. You can ask doubt. I can reply, many other students can reply also. You can ask them. Okay. So we'll meet in the next lecture. If you can also, if you want to study the this whole chapter in like detail, you can see my lecture, but that lecture is in Hindi. Okay. So that will be a problem for you if you don't know Hindi. But if you want to study, there is lecture on the YouTube. You can search for my name, Mridul Tiwari, and it will come. Okay. So we will meet in the next chapter, and by each chapter I will be also improving my English, so it will be better for the next chapter. Okay. Okay, bye.